fall around a few of those. We dip our toes in a little bit of all of those genres.
We got Allie and Danny. You guys are Stop the Presses out of Brooklyn, New York. I love Williamsburg.
Yeah, we are Stop the Presses. We are originally from Miami, Florida. We moved to Brooklyn in 2015 to kind of get more serious about playing music and trying to make it an actual career as close to full-time as humanly possible. We play kind of like what I like to say is like we play a very modern ska that's got one foot in the past and one foot in the future. It's like got the traditional right rhythms with some cool modern hooks and poppy lyrics and like really great live show. That's Stop the Presses.
When I found you guys, I think it was an Instagram suggestion, so the algorithm worked well in the fall. And I checked you guys out because I'm always listening to new music. And, ska, I love ska. And I was expecting, because of the 6 members, I was expecting more of your traditional horn section and not the two-tone, like you said, the one foot in the past, one foot in the future. I read one article at one point that talked about there's like a Hawaiian vibe to what you guys do. And I would go down that road, but it's really kind of 50s, 60s. There's a theme there with that. And then you guys also, the Slackers, which I know we'll get into that. I know you guys are heavily, you got some heavy relationships with those guys, which is a fabulous band. And 6 members in the band. Are you guys all now in New York, or are we spread out across the country?
We're all in New York. Liz, our newest background singer, is in Jersey, but the rest of us, it's all tri-state area.
Yeah, right over the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you guys are getting ready to go out with Mustard Plug. You're going to be doing some dates with them.
Ow!
Yeah, down in Florida, down in our hometown.
Going back now, how did that come about for you guys?
Well, we met Mustard Plug at Supernova, was that last year, right? And just became friends with them. And they reached out about doing this run, just kind of out of the blue. And it was like,
yeah, they're in the.
Let's do it.
We went out with Deal's Gone Slack, which is kind of a super group between Glenn from the Slackers and then, of course, with our dear friend Todd. Deal's Gone Bad. So Deal's Gone Slack is their like super group, and we were out in the Midwest, and we got to talk with Dave a little bit more. And our label that we're on now, Jump Up Records, is also out there. So they all talk, and they all like have like relationships together, and it all kind of like fell into place. They were looking for somebody, and since we have a little bit of know-how, the lay of the land, how to be in Florida and not get like natty light thrown at you.
All those Jimmy Buffett retirees hanging out in Florida.
We know them very well.
Well, I'm going to ask you, coming from Miami, moving to Brooklyn, how was that? Okay, one, did the band move with you guys? And then my second question is on a creative level, how did that change just the way that you guys were a band after, because Florida to Brooklyn's Miami to Brooklyn's very different.
Yeah, totally. We didn't bring a band. It was just Danny and I.
Okay.
And then when we were here in New York, we knew we wanted like the New York sound. We wanted it to sound, we wanted the traditional ska rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were a 4-piece down in Florida. I sang, played keys, and then it was the same, drum, bass, guitar. And when we got here to New York, we already wrote so many harmonies. Danny and I would always harmonize with each other. Our drummer, she and I would harmonize a lot. So we had already like had this idea of no horns. We are playing this just guitar and keys, leads. But we needed to fill out the rest of the sound with the harmonies. And then, we love, like you were saying, 60s, like Supremes, like we love that old type of music. We love Hepcat. You're watching these bands, they have incredible dancers. So that was just, let's add 2 singers and get them to do some choreo to our songs. That way it'll help people to kind of feel where the beat is, to dance, and it'll just be a fun live show. We just, to make it more fun.
The videos that you guys post on Instagram and Superior tier quality stuff you guys are posting online. Some bands are a little, they could step it up. You guys are doing great. We got the dance moves from the three ladies. I saw those videos. We got a ton of live stuff. How does the fans take when they hear ska? They're expecting the horns, they're expecting the kids, and they went and borrowed their dad's suits to go play on stage. And that's totally different from what you guys do, which I think is great. I think it's got more cross appeal. How do the fans take that when you guys go and this is the first time they're hearing Stop the Presses and they're wondering where the horns are?
It's funny because like we get that basically we get that question from them all the time. From people who are like, oh yeah, no horns. And the joke is that it's very hard to keep track of 10 musicians. You know what I mean? It's even hard to keep track of 6 musicians and all that stuff, but we're also just not interested in it. I'm Cuban, and in salsa and a lot of like Caribbean music, the horns kind of are just like punctuations, and they kind of do like these things and they do a line and they come in and out, but it's all kind of about the groove. And even original ska is just all about the groove.
Yep.
And that's like kind of where we live.
Mm-hmm.
We do have features though on our albums. We'll have we just had Jenny Whiskey from Hub City Stompers featured on one of our tracks on our new album, Terminator. This came out really great. But yeah, even the way that she is featured is she's kind of featured as a soloist rather than, accompanying the song, like how horns are usually used in ska music. And for us, those accompaniments are the singers. Those are the background vocals that are filling in those places, which I think typically would be either replaced or doubled with horns.
Yeah. And honestly, we kind of like coming from the underdog or from the underestimated point of view, because it's like no matter what, once you listen to us, you're a fan. And
absolutely.
I don't mean to pat myself on the back or whatever, but it's like nice. It's not offensive music. Like we've had, grandmas and grandkids listening and dancing along to us. So,
I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she's a fan. So when you guys come to Nashville, we're going to have two people there. We actually listen to you guys in the school line a lot of times when I'm dropping them off. So they had to explain to her what Rude Skank was, which for you normal people, it doesn't sound like what it's supposed to, but you guys had the EP Got It released in September. And, the one thing that the vocals are great, the harmonies, the musicianship. I love the organ. I love the keys on it. I'm a stan for good key playing and organ playing. And you guys have a pineapple as a theme. What is the theme of the pineapple that seems to kind of gone throughout the years with you guys?
It's a combination of things. Like the pineapple and the flamingo are kind of ubiquitous with a lot of South Florida stuff, a lot of Caribbean stuff. Even though they're not, like, pineapple isn't traditionally endemic to that area. Specifically pineapple over the last years, because we play this game on tour all the time. It's a road game that we call Got It. Some people call it Mind Meld or whatever, where like two people start with words they thought of, and then they little by little try to like use that to end up guessing the same word at some point, and you play all these rounds until you get down to the same word. And we call it Got It. That's the game. Our drummer Jack introduced us to it, and one day we were outside waiting for food. It was kind of like in the late stages of COVID, where like we were things were opening back up. It's like we call it like between lockdowns, and we were trying to like hit the road a little bit, and we were outside waiting for some food to be ready at this place. Jack said Got It. I said Got It. We said 1, 2, 3, pineapple. And like we all just kind of looked at each other. It was like, did that just happen? Out of nowhere. It was phenomenal. It was really, really, really crazy. And then that was while we were trying to figure out a name for this record. And I think Allie actually was the one that was like, what if we call it Got It? And then, there are other themes in there and all this stuff. We had been dancing around on this like thought of like, kind of been obsessed of late with like this idea of like cowboys and aliens, or like, kind of like just the absolute vastness of space, but also paired with the vastness of the desert.
Right.
And that's where we put the pineapple. The pineapple's kind of living in the desert under the stars.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you check out your merch, which you guys have great merch, by the way, you got the pineapple theme bundles, and I love it. I love a good creativity hustle. So, especially when I saw the merch, I definitely appreciated that.
Thank you.
Something I said? No, I know.
He's in the middle of cooking.
Yeah, I saw the oven mitt. I saw the oven mitt.
I'm good now.
Okay, all right. Don't burn dinner on account of me. All right, like that's not good. Don't do that. Now, you guys, what is the connection with the Slackers that you guys have?
So the Slackers used to come down to Miami and play at our old stopping grounds, which was called Churchill's Pub. We played there like kids, like just so many times.
It was like the CBGBs of Miami. It was a dirty, grungy, disgusting fucking club that you very much wanted to play at, and you very much wanted to see your favorite bands at.
Right. And the Slackers always played down there, and we always would open for them. We'd be support. And so we started to kind of already have a relationship with them when we were in Florida. Flash forward 2015 when we moved to Brooklyn, and Danny and I, we had the song together. That was at the time that we linked up with our bassist Steven Saylor and our drummer Jack Good. We knew they were gonna do the rhythm section for these tracks, and we wanted Agent J to produce the record because we had heard what he did with Crazy Bald Head, and we just loved the sound that he was getting. It's just cool. It's very, again, it's like this, there's this New York sound. It's a little retro, little, it's old but new. Like I love the way that you explained it, a little bit in the past, but you're still got one foot forward, like with the vocals being kind of like present and clear, but you still get like this room sound. So we knew that with this new record that or Money in the Bank, that we wanted to get Jay's touch.
Right.
And so that just kind of opened up this relationship between us. He's just so wonderful to work with. He's such a great guy. We really feel like he understands what we're going for. Right. And that's even why I got it. We asked him to work on that with us as well, to produce that record as well. Mix it. Mm-hmm. And we are so thrilled. Like, we just love working with him. And the Slackers are kind of always around here. So we've seen them a lot. And I think that they're kind of mentors for us. Vic is a huge mentor for me. I'll say that. I watch his playing, and I have from my 20s till now of trying to emulate, like, how is he doing the rhythm? How is he soloing? What kind of voices is he using? And even looking at his career path, as far as, they say that you should look kind of towards mentors about their career paths, kind of to like help inspire you to go on your own. And for me, he's been a huge influence on me in that way. And he's a phenomenal songwriter. So,
I mean, they're the goats.
They really are
of the two-tone movement. Now,
and they're people too, which is, not always the case.
Sometimes when you meet your favorite artist or your heroes or whatever, you go, I should have never met these people. It's actually very disappointing in some of them. I feel personally, and I've been showcasing a lot of ska artists, I feel like ska is actually on the cusp of popping again. Like we're gonna go back to like what it was in the 90s, and there seems to be a lot of traction coming. Are you guys noticing kind of a different energy these days than maybe a couple of years ago when it comes to ska and like the kids that are coming to the shows and just the reception that you guys are getting?
Yes, I will say that what the Bad Time guys are doing is really valuable, and they caught it right, and they're also building it. It's not just about catching it. They're also doing like the right work of building it and all this stuff. And that's really great. I mean, I think that's really important. I also think that, yeah, dude, it kind of just like caught a wave of like buzzwordiness trending on the internet at like the right time, where all these people are kind of like, ooh, what's that?
Right.
I will say, I mean, like my real, true, honest answer about all of that is that the number one difference is that we kind of have lost for several years the all ages crowd
Mm-hmm.
of live music, which is what kind of like made the '90s the '90s. It was the all ages venues and stuff like that, and I mean, those two things are a little bit at odds. As far as like we want the younger people to do it and come out and support and all this stuff, but we're still kind of in this weird moment where like commercially uh all ages venues are not an interest
Right.
to people with money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, maybe like it'll be a chicken and an egg, or maybe it'll be like the spark that catches fire. Hopefully we will push enough where people will be like, damn, dude, we got to figure out where all these kids can go.
Right.
And then somebody will start, to want to make money off of that again, or feel like they can make money off of that again. Because I mean, we know like a lot of venues are attached to a bar.
Yeah.
Right.
That the bar is really the money maker. And that only goes so far.
Well, I was going to say there's also, music festivals like for our generation. Me and Danny, Warped Tour was a huge
Mm-hmm.
part of my high school years, middle school and high school. Every single year I went to West Palm Beach and I went to the Warped Tour and just get swept up in all the music, punk, ska, metal, whatever it was, and just get demos or CDs or posters and all of that. I think it was like marketed more towards our generation.
Right.
That's kind of the biggest thing that I hear, even like with young people, or like I'm music. I teach private lessons to kids and piano and voice lessons to kids, and yeah, they're not like getting. If they're going to a show, they're going to like an arena band kind of thing. They're not going to like a music festival that's for tweens and teens. We kind of stopped doing that.
We don't have them.
So I think it's really cool what Bad Time is doing. They almost always are trying to cater to all ages, and kids like it. We do notice with like our shows that the audience is younger and younger, whereas we used to feel like we were just kind of catering to the older demographic. Now we've noticed that we're getting younger people at our shows, and that's really cool. It's really like exciting.
You made a good point, because like even with my 9-year-old, there's not a lot of club shows that you could take her to. It's either I got to take her to the amphitheater, or that's about it. There's not, because it's always 18 or over, 21 or over. Now, you mentioned the Warped Tour. For both of you guys, what artist got you into music, that not just where you were a fan, but you actually like, I want to do this full time. Like, this is my dream. What artist was that for you guys?
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer. My earliest like memories of like loving something was either the Beatles or the Beach Boys, which I'm way too young for.
Right.
But I just like it was like one of those things where before I even understood like I like this or I don't like that, I was like drawn to these combinations of things, and it was the first thing that I could like really recognize and pick up on, and all this stuff. I was kind of always interested in music in that way or another, and it kind of came naturally to me. So I don't even know when there's like a pinpoint moment of just like this did me in.
Right.
I will say that when I was in middle school, we have like a local hero in Hialeah where I grew up, because I'm actually from Hialeah. For anybody who understands what that means, it means a lot. It's a town on the west part of Miami that's kind of got like a Brooklyn vibe. We kind of have this whole thing of like, yeah, y'all are over there and this is our thing over here. And we had a local guitar hero who was phenomenal, but actually like was a hero. He went and did like career day at schools. He showed like old school 16 millimeter reel cartoons to my Boy Scout troop, and and just made it so that it could be like you could live in the daylight as a weirdo hippie musician with dreadlocks, but still be all about community, all about love and all this stuff and everything. And the name of that band is Humbert, and the name of the man is Fernie Coipel, and the drummer of that band was an English teacher at my middle school. So every year, once a year, they would do this big concert at the middle school to kind of teach kids like music, or to teach kids like, hey, go watch a band, go love music. And that was probably my like, oof, I'm gonna do this forever. And it's like I still play a Telecaster because of that. I don't play a Telecaster because of Sky. I play a Telecaster because of Fernie Coipel. And I play the series of amps that I do because of that. I use specifically the PV Classic series, the 50 and the 30, for all of the stuff that I do because of the same reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like for me, I started like choir in elementary school, and then I started piano, and I had like my first piano recital. I was like 9 years old, and I was like, I want to do this the rest of my life. I was a really shy, weird kid. So I think like get the performance and getting the applause was, very attractive for me. And then, flash forward, I went to like art school. I went to middle school of the arts and high school of the arts in West Palm Beach. And that was such like my high school was so wonderful. I played in a couple bands, screamo, emo bands back then. And I think like I really enjoyed the ensemble instead of just like playing classical piano by myself. And then just going to punk shows. I remember seeing like Catch 22 and NoFX, the Mad Caddies, like seeing these bands that were just Mustard Plug actually was one of my first shows. And I just always thought it was really cool. It was in a lot of like female bands at the time. I mean, there was like Save Ferris and of course No Doubt, and I loved Gwen Stefani so much. So I feel like I always wanted that outlet, and being on stage was just this place where I felt like I could kind of be myself.
Right.
Because of the living situation, who I was at the time. It was really hard for me to like come out and be who I was. And then when I moved to Miami and I met Danny, I auditioned for his band. There was just no turning back. I had finally actually found a writing partner that, we were very much in sync and still are to this day about the type of music we want to write. That we started doing shows, and it was nerve-wracking at first. In Miami, it's a bigger city than where I was from,
right?
But I just love it. There's nothing like it.
How has New York embraced New York City? How has New York City embraced Stop the Presses?
I think at first it was a little intimidating for us. We needed to level up. You have to level up your entire life here. It's not even just the music that we did. It was just even everything, and I think at first it was intimidating, but again, like our music, it's hook, it's got a hook and groove, and it's catchy. And so I definitely feel like now we're at a really good place. I love our New York fans. They're fantastic. And I think that they have embraced it a lot. And we were scared at first.
Right.
But I don't like in Miami's a really punk kind of scene. It's just it's everything. It's a mishmash. It's not like punk, traditional ska, third wave ska, whereas like maybe in New York, there's just so much music here.
Right.
That you've got the punk shows, you have the ska core shows, you've got traditional ska, reggae, rock, steady shows, so we were a little nervous. But then the great thing is that we kind of fall around a few of those. We dip our toes in a little bit of all of those genres. So it's been great. I feel like I'd like to say that we have appeal here.
Couple more questions and then I'll let you go get dinner.
Yeah,
how being married in a band together, careers, like lives, how do you guys manage that and keep your sanity and keep the love going? Because I know that it can be a little bit difficult when you got to do business and relationships together. And then you also got 4 other people you're in a band with. How do you guys juggle all that?
We don't. No. I'm kidding. It is hard. I never want to pretend that it isn't hard. We honestly, even recently we've been talking a lot about it. Like Ellie and I kind of do like what you're supposed to do. We look to others for inspiration and all this stuff. And like one of the big inspirations of us for partnerships is Trey Parker and Matt Stone of South Park. Yeah, they like they delineate, they delegate, they know each other, they know who they are and what they bring to the table. And that's not to say that they don't have like difficult days or whatever, but they like understand the relationship and they understand that takes work. Another couple that we like look to a lot for inspiration are Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard.
Okay.
Like they both have their own things going on, but they are like a celebrity couple of note.
Mm-hmm.
And they on the surface out loud say this is hard as hell. We work at it like crazy. There are all out days that we don't want to be around each other. And we've both had a ton of therapy, and like you have to work at it. It's got to be a priority. You got to keep it real, and you got to keep this person real in your mind, because there is that juxtaposition that we're always joking about like you have to be honest in music about what's good and what's bad, but you also desperately want this person who hugs you at night to love everything you do and support you no matter what. And that's hard as hell. Right. But like Ali said, dude, we kind of do agree on a lot of the music that we want. And I kind of maintain the idea a lot of times of like everything is just like, we'll try it.
Right.
If it doesn't work, you deal with the decision and you move on to the next thing. Right. And honestly, if you kind of keep that in your mind, that nothing is permanent, everything is just like, this one came out that way. It really helps.
We used to have this joke about the music stuff is easy. It's the relationship stuff that's hard. And right. I think like because of how we started was writing partners. We weren't dating and we were just bandmates. And so we already like had a rhythm of how we write together, and trying to leave the egos at the door is like, this isn't, I like this, but it's not working. We'll use this something else, and nothing is permanent. Now I think being on the road, because sometimes you're on the road for an entire month and you are with 4 other people, and we don't want to like, if we're beefing, it's like not gonna make it fun for everybody else. Right. And a lot of that is setting boundaries and kind of compartmentalizing, but it has to be fun. We have to enjoy what we're doing. If we're not enjoying it and we're not like having a good time, then it's kind of like, well then what's the point? Right. It has to be a good time. And even for our bandmates, we can't be miserable, because then it's going to kind of bring down the whole vibe of everybody else. And so I don't know. I think we've done a better job now, the more times that we've toured, that if something is feeling a little uneasy, it's okay to rest for a little bit. It's okay. It's okay for us both to take a minute, or say like, hey, it's 9:00 at night. I'm not going to talk about band stuff right now. We can do this. Well, because it's also, it's true, being married, and you do need the time to be together, the time to love each other, and not just be working all the time. Work-life balance is really, really important. I think people forget that.
Which one of you guys is the one that works all the time? Yeah. Okay. All right.
I would just work. But I've gotten to a place now where I'm like, this is important, of course, but I can go to sleep right now.
Right.
And I can do it in the morning. Like, it's not, open heart surgery.
Right.
It's not even, it's funny. It's not even just like the music. It's like everything was like that for me, of like work, type A personality.
Right.
And now I don't think I am that. I think I'm just like a blah personality. Something happens when you get over 30,
That's true. I years ago, I worked with a band, kind of a big band, and there was a husband and wife in the group. And he'd be in the studio, and you could tell that it is not a good morning in their relationship. And you'd look at the rest of the band and be like, does this happen all the time? And they'd be like, all the time. And I'm like, this has got to be miserable for everybody else who's got to watch you guys work out your marriage in real time.
Yeah. Gotta stay away from that.
Our band will be like, stop fighting, mom and dad, please stop fighting.
Yeah, make it stop. I want you guys to be happy. So what do you guys have coming for 2023? We got the Mustard Plug tour. We have new album, or we got a new single coming out. What do we have coming that you can talk about right now?
There's a couple more tours. in the works, West Coast and somewhere in the middle of the country a little bit again. We are going to Canada, to the west side of Canada.
We might be doing some music festivals coming up very, very soon that we're going to
yeah,
announce.
I didn't say anything about, like, see, you like gave people so much more information there. I said we're going to Canada. We're going to Canada. That's all we're doing. We're going to Canada.
Anyway.
Hey, you know, Allie, I thought it was a romantic weekend. You guys were going to Canada, and now you destroyed it right there. Now I know it's a band thing.
Damn.
I thought it was an anniversary trip.
Yeah, so that, and then individually we're both really busy. This is part of the whole thing about why New York has treated us so well. This is part of why New York has treated us so well, is that we can actually be musicians here. That was not available to us in South Florida. And you know, that's like where we are is kind of the most dangerous place that you can be for a band, is like just crossing into the mid-level. And we have jobs, but we also have opportunities. And those things are 100% opposed. Because you make commitments to people that they want to make, you know, they want you to help them make money. And then you also want to do this thing that you want to do, and also figure out how to pay New York rents.
Right.
So Allie is playing with Crazy in the Brains, which is a phenomenal band that we love to death. We were fans beforehand. So she's going to be doing some significant touring with them. And then I have joined Public Serpents, which is the drummer of Choking Victim, Squirt Gun, his project, whose new record is just coming out, The Bully Puppet. And I'm going to be doing some significant touring with them also.
That's awesome. Now, yeah, it's cool. I wanted to commend you guys because a lot of people move to New York, LA, Nashville, to hopes of their dreams. They fail within a year. They're back home. They're giving up on their dream. You guys have seemed to crush it out there. And that's awesome. Congratulations. You guys beat the odds of people who, I know a lot of people in New York who, I mean, they've been there for 10 years and they're still hustling, trying to, you know.
You never stop hustling. It never feels like you're done.
You never stop hustling. You know, I don't know if it's just the grit that the both of us have and like the unwillingness to hear no, you know, because even when I first moved here, I have a bunch of cousins that are like in Long Island, and I was talking to one of my cousins and he was telling me about his sister-in-law who had a rough time being a singer and pianist, and then, you know, trying to move to the city, and then her even being from Long Island, still having to move back. And he was like, and I didn't want to say anything to you when you first moved here. He was like, it's been a couple of years, but you're like, you're doing it. You're doing well. So now I can tell you this, but I didn't want to like get your hopes down. But I just think, yeah, New York has really treated the both of us very well with music. We've gotten some incredible opportunities, and Stop the Presses is doing so well here. I'm just so thankful. We really built a community. There's a great community here, and really just tri-state, New York and Connecticut, Boston, and Jersey folks that really seem to get it. That are good people, good to work with, great to play shows with. Even the bands that we're talking about of collaborating with, it's really fun, and we really, really enjoy it. Really, really thankful for just all these great friendships that we've made.
So last two questions I have is, you guys talk about all these opportunities you guys have had and everything. And when people do move to the three cities, New York, Nashville, LA, and they fail, I mean, you guys have I hate the word connection, because it just seems like you being friendly to somebody is your advantage. You know, you're using them almost. What advice would you give to those people that move in and they want to get all the gigs that you guys have and have the career and all that? What advice would you give them?
Be open, be giving. Don't be self-interested. It is about community. You have to really be there, and not for yourself. Like we separated proving ourselves as the band on stage from being friends at the bar, you know, doing, you know, grabbing the next beer or whatever it is. It really is about the community. Like, none of us are making any money at this, not real money. And the only thing that we have is the time that we spend together. And people can read that.
Yeah, and I know that we don't want to say the connections, but what Danny's saying about the community, like Danny and I got here to the city and went to tons of shows and just trying to meet people and see bands and support their bands, support their music. Pandemics, our band that's here from New York City that we saw a million times and became friends with those folks, and they're wonderful people. And just to, go out there, make friends. And be easy to work with and have gratitude because if you feel like you should be deserving of all of this stuff, like or being jealous or envious or anything like that, it's kind of like the universe, I feel like, reads that off of you,
Right. Okay, shameless plug time. How can people get in contact with you, check out your tour dates, see the pictures of the romantic weekend in Canada that's coming? Where can they do all of that at?
I would say visit us on Instagram, Stop the Presses Music, Twitter at Stop Presses, TikTok, Stop the Presses Music, and Facebook, Stop the Presses Music. We have links to all of our shows, all of our merch, to our music. We are on Spotify, Stop the Presses. I would say just go listen, pick up our album. That's the best way that you can support a band that you love, is by purchasing merch directly from them. Of course, we want you to stream also, though. We do have a website as well, pressesmusic.com, if you're feeling cheeky, like you want to go to our website. But I do think like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, those are the places that you're gonna see the most, get the most out of the content that we're sharing. See all of our cool videos, see our tour videos. You'll see the whole mustard plug in our tour bus. We have an RV that we tour in. It's a lot of fun. So go and check that out.
Also, while you're on YouTube right now, like and subscribe this, and then run over to Stop the Presses Music on YouTube as well.
We are going to tag you in the title, so that you're the first artist to ever do that. I just want to tell you. You're the first. Nobody ever mentions YouTube when they give out all their links. A lot of times, some of them, not all, but some of them, it's because they haven't updated it in like 5 years. So I do this thing for my listeners. We got a Spotify playlist. A couple of my favorite songs from you guys. I had to write them down so I didn't screw it up like I do names. Was Fat Cats. That song is that's my jam right there. That is actually my favorite song of you guys. Rebel Girl, and then Rude Skank. And we did this playlist thing with our listeners. There's about 8,000 followers on there. I'm going to throw in Fat Cats in there and Spotify. So you guys will get some love from that. I'd love to bring you guys back on in the future, catch up with you, see the vacation photos from Canada. All right. I'm going to keep that secret safe on the show. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for your time. When you come to Nashville, love to see you. Or if I come to New York, I need a couch. And I'll walk.
Yeah, I work in Williamsburg. I fix DJ gear at a wonderful little spot right on Broadway in Williamsburg, dude. So when you're up here, let's go grab a slice.
Yeah, and I'll sleep on your couch and I'll walk your dog for you all.
You are more than welcome.
Anytime.
Thank you guys.